cover something like 23 miles in a minute. The flight time, London to New York, 3 hours 20 minutes. And yet the time difference in London and New York is of course 5. So you can see the big attraction there, you actually beat the clock when you're flying Concorde there.
Go to New York, me too.
Yeah, so you can see the legroom on these seats here. It's very good legroom for what is only a very short flight. It holds 100 passengers all told, 40 in the front section, 60 in the rear section. It's one class throughout, there's no first class, second class, it's all the same class throughout. The cost of a ticket towards the end of its life was about £4,000 single, £7,000 return. You would have six cabin crew looking after you here, looking after 100 passengers, which is quite a good ratio. And the food on Concorde is something special as well. It's a choice from a menu. It's a 4 or 5 course meal. It's served one course at a time. Served on bone china plates, cut glass glassware, pre-9/11 metal cutlery as well. The food menu is changed on a weekly basis. There's also free wine and free champagne, and the selection of wines is changed on a monthly basis as well, so your regular passengers tend to get different experience virtually every time that they flew on Concorde. Now Concorde not only flew twice as fast as normal aircraft, it also flew twice as high. 60,000 feet, 11 miles high. Not a lot to see out the windows when you're flying at that height. You can also see the windows are very small on Concorde as well. When they were first developing it, they weren't sure whether to actually put any windows in. One of the things they had to take into account was window failure at that altitude, because if you get window failure, air rushes out, depressurization occurs, oxygen masks and things drop out. You've only got limited supply of oxygen, you've only got a certain amount of time to get down to a safer altitude. So the reason if they made the windows smaller, the rate of air loss would be reduced. You'd get a bit longer to get down. Yeah, you get a bit longer to get down that altitude. Never did lose a window in flight, but that's one of the things there. But then with Concorde flying that sort of height, there's not a lot to see out the windows. You can only fly supersonically over the oceans. You're not allowed to fly supersonically over land because of the sonic boom. That's something that follows you all the time. You're flying supersonically. You've got this sonic boom that follows you like a footprint all the time. Somebody on the ground when Concorde passed over supersonically would hear a double bang as Concorde flew over. So restricted to flying supersonically over the ocean. So you can only see the oceans out the windows there, 11 miles high, not a lot. But 11 miles high, you are high enough to just about make out the curvature of the Earth. One thing they quite often said is it's the only aircraft that flying at that height will be military aircraft. The crew of those will be wearing pressure suits and breathing oxygen. Concourse passengers sitting in their shirt sleeves sipping champagne. It's a world of difference there, yeah. Of course, some of the passengers on Concorde had to be ones with deep pockets as well, with all sort of ticket prices. You tend to get showbiz people, business people travelling on Concorde. In the early days of Concorde's flying, one of the regular passengers was Sir David Frost. He used to like to sit at the back of the aircraft. Quickly noticed that if the plane wasn't fully loaded, that's where the empty seats would tend to be, at the back. So he could then spread his scripts out and work when he was on the flight there. Never kept a record of how many times he flew on Concorde. It's estimated to be anything between 300 and 500 times that he flew on Concorde. The guy has actually made it in the Guinness Book of Records. Somebody in the oil business, over a 10-year period, he amassed a total of 718 flights on Concorde. He toured a favourite seat. That was row 9, which is the second to the rear row seats in this forward cabin. That was his seat of choice because apparently he noticed that's the first one that got served with the food. We've had royalty and heads of state have flown on this aircraft as well. The Queen has flown on this aircraft. Whenever she flew on Concorde, she always sat in the same seat. Quickly became the most requested seat, seat number 1A. You'd expect the Duke of Edinburgh to sit next to her, but no, he liked to window seat himself. He would always sit 1D.
Anyone sit in the
Nothing to say, but he wanted to say.
Sorry?
Did anyone sit in the seats in between them?
No, not really, probably no, because when they flew, it wouldn't be a normal scheduled flight. They would charter the whole aircraft. It would be a flight to a non-standard destination. It would be just them and their entourage, you know, they go to this non-standard destination, so it would be just restricted to them. I've even seen a photo of the Queen taken on board one of the flights, and they've actually reconfigured the seating. She had a rearward facing seat, a table in front of her, So yeah, there's special things for that. Yeah. Right, if you want to have a quick wander, things to see there in the midsection. There you can see the tiny toilets. Also see one of the doorways there for actually loading passengers on board. One thing to look out for in the doorways: little fold-away seats on the doorways. Those are the crew seats for takeoff and landing.
When it was empty.
Yeah, full old test gear. Yeah.
No seats in even.
No, just the one or two seats on the old test gear.
It was to have a walk round it. Took my little ladder.
Yeah.
Many years ago. Crying shame.
It's only 35 feet, so short.
Do you want a picture down?
Picture with the girls, Erin and Belle.
They've been brilliant to fly to Sydney, wouldn't it?
It's a bit chilly for sitting down and eating. Been out in the wind, but that's about all you can say at the moment.
But for the plane itself, there's no